Fighting has resumed in the Gaza Strip as the local health ministry confirmed that so far 31 people have been killed since the resumption of the Israeli attacks after the humanitarian ceasefire expired. In Guatemala, 108 government legislators removed four magistrates of the Supreme Electoral Court from the post, accusing them of alleged financial fraud. And international media highlighted the agreements reached at the Climate Change Summit COP28 in United Arab Emirates. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Rosabal from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The Gaza Health Ministry confirmed on Friday that so far 31 people have been killed since the resumption of the Israeli attacks on Gaza. The Health Ministry's spokesman, Ashab al-Qidra, assured that the number of wounded would not be quantified due to the magnitude of the recent attacks of the Zionists. The occupation army began to perpetrate massacres just 2 hours after the end of the truce. In this sense, local media announced that among the new victims stands out the photojournalist Abdallah Darwish of the Palestinian media Al-Qasa, raising to 71 the number of journalists killed by Israel. James Elder, spokesman for the United Nations Children's Fund, expressed his rejection of the resumption of the siege from one of the hospitals attacked. On the other hand, the Palestinian resistance movement, Hamas, accused Israel and the United States as responsible for the breaking of the agreement to guarantee a temporary humanitarian pause to alleviate the suffering of thousands of Gazans. Hamas announced that all the offers made to Israel, which included the release of the elderly prisoners and handing over those body kills in bombings, were rejected. The Palestinian resistance also claimed that this attitude was due to the fact that the occupier had already made a determination to resume hostilities against Gaza. In the meantime, Hamas spokesman Osama Hamdan reiterated that they cooperated with all the mediated requests and that although they are prepared to respond to the occupier, they remain open to a process of dialogue. The humanitarian truce between Israel and Hamas has come to an end, and the Israeli army has not hesitated to resume its actions on the battlefield, as only minutes after the ceasefire ended. There were already reports of Palestinians killed by Israeli attacks. With more details, our correspondent Noha Racine reports directly from the Gaza Strip.
The humanitarian truce has ended, and since the very first half an hour, Israel started striking the Gaza Strip crazily. I mean, in the north, there has been strikes on Palestinian residential homes where the people are inside their homes, shelling from the east, naval shelling from the west. A number of people were killed and a number were injured. Same thing here in southern Gaza. I mean, non-stop bombings. It is very intense, like the even more harder than the previous operation and before the truce begins. Here in southern Gaza, there is Israeli tanks shelling from the eastern side, Israeli strikes in Rafah, Khan Yunis, here also in Al-Bureij and Al-Maghazi refugee camp. At the same time, Israeli naval shelling on the west coast. Also, a number of people were killed and a number were injured. The paramedics and civil forces are still trying to evacuate as much people as they can. At the same time, the Israeli warplanes thrown leaflets and sent messages to Palestinians to evacuate their homes, especially those who are living in Jabalia refugee camp in the north, and also people here who are living in Khuza'a and Bani Sahela areas in Khan Yunis. And Khan Yunis is located in southern Gaza. There is hundreds of thousands of Palestinian people who evacuated their homes from northern Gaza to Khan Yunis, because at the beginning of this operation, the IDF said that actually all areas in southern Gaza are safe. So now the safe area in Gaza is gonna be under Israeli land incursion. Noha Racine, TeleSUR, Gaza.
The President of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, met with the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, to discuss a ceasefire against Palestinian people. The meeting took place in the West Bank city of Ramallah, where President Abbas reported on the urgency to stop the aggression of the Israeli forces. In this regard, Abbas handed over to Secretary Blinken a file containing documents proving the crimes against humanity committed by the Israeli occupation army. In the meantime, Blinken met with the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to discuss a halt to the Israeli siege against the Gaza Strip. For his part, after holding a meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated his intention to continue the confrontation with the Palestinian resistance movement Hamas.
This is the same Hamas. This is the same Hamas that carried out the terrible massacre on October 7. The same Hamas that tries to murder us everywhere. We swore, and I swore, to eliminate Hamas. Nothing will stop us. We will continue this war until we achieve the three goals: to release all our abductees, to eliminate Hamas completely, and to ensure that Gaza will never again face such a threat.
Yemen's Houthi armed forces threatened on Thursday to escalate its attacks against Israel if the ceasefire ends and Israel continues its offensive in Gaza. The announcement was made in a recorded speech by the Houthi military spokesperson Brigadier Yahya Sari minutes before the ceasefire was set to expire.
The Yemeni armed forces affirmed the following: its full readiness, preparedness to resume its military operations against the Israeli enemy if it decides to resume its aggression against Gaza. The Yemeni armed forces will not hesitate to expand their military operations against the Israeli entity to include unexpected targets on land or at sea. The Yemeni armed forces will continue preventing Israeli ships from the Red Sea and will take more procedures to guarantee the full implementation of this decision.
Israel Foreign Minister Eli Cohen urgently summons his ambassador to Spain following statements by the president of the Spanish government, Pedro Sanchez, and warns that he will withdraw her permanently. The head of the Israeli diplomacy described as outrageous the statements made by the Spanish president and assured that they are unfounded. The statements of the Israeli chancellor were followed by the immediate summoning of Rudi Gard Gordon, its accredited ambassador in Madrid, for consultations. The crisis between Madrid and Tel Aviv began several days ago during the visit of the Spanish president, who upon his return repeated his impressions on public television. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, new dates, and more. Our study is coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. With fraud agreement, 108 government legislators removed for magistrates of the Supreme Electoral Court of Guatemala from their posts being accused of alleged financial fraud. On Wednesday, Congress received a report recommending the procedure that was finally approved on May 9 or Thursday. The accused were Irma Palencia, Gabriela Aguilera, Rafael Rojas, and Minor Franco. The proposal won by majority, and the full Congress voted on whether or not to recommend the withdrawal of immunity. 108 legislators approved it, thus paving the way for the polling ministry to initiate proceedings against them. In Venezuela, social organizations mobilized for the campaign closing of Venezuela Toda in view of the consultative referendum to be held next December 3rd in defense of the Guyana Esquiva. In the state of La Guaira, for example, there was a massive march made up of diverse sectors of the Venezuelan population. These activities will be carried out in all the states motivated by the popular consultation on December 3rd. The first Vice President of the United Social Party of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, pointed out that in view of the continuous attempts to sabotage the consultation day, the people are reacting positively in defense of the territory and sovereignty.
Some have heard the puppet of Guyana saying that they are going to steal their territory. Venezuela does not want to steal even 1 centimeter from anyone, but we are not going to let them steal it either. We are not going to let them steal it either.
In Ecuador, the plenary of the National Assembly approved a draft resolution that holds Lasso responsible for embezzlement. The motion was presented by the first Vice President of the Assembly, Viviana Veloz, and was approved by the 116 votes. The draft resolution states that the plenary of the National Assembly resolved to declare that former President Guillermo Lasso is politically responsible for the offense of embezzlement, to accuse Lasso of using cross-deaths to evade his responsibility, and to notify the content of the resolution and the entirety of the file to the Attorney General's office and Comptroller's office. Notorious coup leader Guy Philippe returned to Haiti on Thursday after the U.S. government repatriated him, sparking concerns that his presence could unleash further upheaval in a country already reeling from gang violence and political instability. It wasn't clear what role, if any, Philippe expected to play upon his return to Haiti, which is under siege by gangs that grew extremely powerful in the political vacuum created by the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Philippe arrived in the capital Port-au-Prince on Thursday morning and taken on a bus with police escort to the headquarters of the Judicial Police of Haiti, where he was held for several hours. The appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs of Argentina, Diana Modino, assured that the country won't join the BRICS and warned that they can govern by decree. After participating in the 29th conference of the UA-Argentine Industrial Union, the Future FM told the press that the decision was an backyard step, as the BRICS entrance was never approved. Marina revealed that if the new executive doesn't reach the approval of laws in the Congress, they can govern by decree, clearing up that is not the best option. On her intervention in the industrialist meeting, the new appointed further advised the purchase of electric generators in case the industrial sector starts up. The national leaders of the Association of State Workers and delegates of national organizations gathered in the streets of the city of Buenos Aires, where they announced stands to be taken by the union in view of the inauguration of the new government to be headed by President-elect Javier Milei, who has promised a sharp cut in the number of staff in various ministries. A correspondent in Buenos Aires, Santiago Corey, has collected the opinions of the leader of the rally. Let's take a listen.
Under the slogan Unity, Resistance and Proposal, the Association of State Workers, ATE, expressed the union's position on the national scenario after December the 10th.
The coming scenario does not seem to be easy for working women and men, for retirees, and for the populous sectors. What seems to be coming is an adjustment program of a magnitude that is impossible to measure. The chainsaw seems to have started with the people and not with the elites. The first thing they told us was that they were not going to pay our Christmas bonus, and now they are planning to lay off tens of thousands of state workers. Today we say here we are, united with the necessary strength to face the times ahead.
In relation to this scenario, Rodolfo Aguiar lists the steps to follow and calls other sectors to get together and take the streets.
We have decided to request the first official meeting with President-elect Javier Milei. We demand to know exactly what is the scope of the omnibus law he wants to send to the Congress. Secondly, we have ratified the state of permanent assembly and mobilization. If we do not receive answers by December 11, also the possibility to turn that same day into a national day of struggle across Argentina with a mobilization to the nation's Congress. Today, we also call for the unity of the three central trade unions. We call for the unity of both, the Workers' Central Union and the General Confederation of Labor, in order to walk through the times ahead.
In addition to the defense of the workers, they consider that the rights already acquired are at risk. What will perhaps end up disappearing is the universal allocations, because they're not going to stimulate money for that. They're going to let it fall. There are entire public assistance programs that will not continue to exist. When you reduce from 20 ministries to 12, what you do is that you lose rights, and then you have to see how those rights are going to be administered and in what way. The right to a salary is at stake. The Christmas bonus is being discussed. There will be hundreds of thousands of layoffs. There will be a planned poverty due to a systematic plundering plan. They have already taken away the debt capital, and they will try to do it again. They want to take the sovereignty away by selling off YPF, selling off the Argentinian airlines, all the issues that guarantee national sovereignty. Members of different organizations expressed the reasons why they are in a state of alert.
What we believe will truly happen, because of what they are saying, it is a step back forward in terms of rights and, in this sense, not only of jobs, but also those rights that have been acquired, especially during these 40 years of democracy.
We are in danger after 40 years of struggle, after 40 years of deaths, of missing people. We cannot understand how we have voted for our executioner, because they vindicate the darkest page of this country's history, the times of the military dictatorship.
All agree that if the measures announced by Javier Milei are implemented, all state jobs are at risk.
Santiago Corey, TeleSUR, Argentina.
We have a second job break coming up, but before, we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our Speaking English audience. You can scan the QR code on the screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final job break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Friday, international media highlighted the agreements reached at the working meeting within the framework of COP28, where world leaders participate in the climate action negotiations in the United Arab Emirates. So far, countries agreed to launch a loss and damage fund for vulnerable countries devastated by natural disasters. In this sense, delegations will spend 2 weeks of negotiations on a number of issues that have long stymied the climate talks, starting with the future of oil, gas, and coal. The agreement being negotiated by nearly 200 countries includes a clause on phasing out fossil fuels, which are responsible for most greenhouse gas emissions. It is noteworthy that COP28 is taking place under a United Nations warning that 2023 is on the track to be the hottest year on record, and the goal of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius.
To get the agenda voted and agreed on without any delay. For those who have been involved in previous COPs, this is just unprecedented. The fact that we've been able to deliver what was promised in Sharm el-Sheikh, the fact that we've been able to activate, operationalize, and pass the threshold that have been associated with the establishment with this fund is historic and is a unique, unprecedented achievement.
In this context, and the first day of the summit, the president of COP28, Sultan Ahmed Al-Jaber, stated that the initial fund exceeded what had been agreed, and he expects the contribution to increase in the coming days.
Today, like I said, the threshold was 200 to establish and operationalize this fund. We reached north of $420 million only in the first hour. And I know that over the next couple of days, many more pledges and many more commitments are going to be made by different heads of states and different heads of governments.
The president of Iran, Sayyid Ibrahim Raisi, decided not to attend a climate summit being held in Dubai due to the presence of officials of the Zionist regime of Israel. This was stated in the release, which also designated his representative, the Minister of Energy of Iran, Ali Akbar Mehrabian, and the head of the President's diplomacy, Hossein Amarlaloyan spoke with Emirates counterpart Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan to thank the invitation on behalf of its people and government, and to explain the decision of the head of state. Tehran has strongly questioned the presence of representatives of the Israeli occupier at the summit because of the most recent war crimes and genocide of the Zionist regime against the Gaza Strip. UN spokesperson Stephanie Dujarric said Guterres called on leaders to make general contributions to get a fund and a climate conference started on a strong footing.
The Secretary General welcomes a decision taken by the opening at the opening of COP28 to operationalize the new Loss and Damage Fund, an essential tool for delivering climate justice to the most vulnerable people. He calls on leaders to make generous contributions to get the fund and the climate conference started on a strong footing.
And in other topics, on Thursday, China's defense minister said that the United States should stop interfering in both Taiwan and the South China Sea, calling U.S. arms sales to Taiwan a powder keg that is making the situation more dangerous. Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party is turning Taiwan into a weapons depot and a power keg, said Senior Ku Guian, the defense minister's top spokesperson. Taiwan's security depends on the peaceful development of cross-strait relations instead of a few pieces of U.S.-made weapons, was said at a monthly news conference.
The Democratic Progressive Party authorities solicit us support for independence and are turning Taiwan into a weapons depot and powder keg. This is pushing Taiwan into the abyss of disaster and will certainly bring huge scourge to people in Taiwan. Taiwan's security depends on the peaceful development of the cross-strait relations instead of a few pieces of United States-made weapons.
We have come to the end of this brief, but before saying goodbye, we want to thank our Caribbean audience, especially the audience of Trinidad and Tobago. We are pleased to share newscasts and contribute to provide an alternative news source of the latest world events. You can find these and many other stories on our website at TeleSURenglish.net and join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alena Rosabal. Thank you for watching.